Hi there, everybody. Emily Craven here from the Queensland Writers Centre. I'm the digital producer there. And today we are having a lovely interview with the wonderful Elaine Acworth. Now, she is doing a fantastic course called Curtains Up Writing for Stage. So Elaine's a playwright and a director. And Elaine, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome, Emily. Hello, everyone.
So I just thought we'd keep it really simple because you're going to be covering a lot in your workshop. So what are 3 things that you need to write for stage?
Okay. I've had a little moment to think about this. The first thing I would say is an idea, inspiration, and that can come from anywhere. Overhearing conversations in cafes or on buses, mobile phones, things that happen in family, things that happen in the news that drive you mad. The important thing is that you write about something that's important to you, something that you feel curiosity about, or that you're intrigued by, something that makes your blood boil or makes you laugh. Because what happens then is that you're writing from a place of passion, and audiences pick up on that. They can feel the kind of authentic heart that that piece has, and they'll really respond to it. So I think that's the first thing, really. Just write something that is true to you, something that is yours, really yours, and that you feel strongly about. Second thing, of course, is show, don't tell, which I know everyone is using now. It's a maxim that's kind of universal in all literary mediums, but theatre invented it, guys. That was first. And essentially what it means is that, and we'll be dealing quite a bit with this in the workshop, it's that whole notion of action versus dialogue and the everlasting balancing act that goes on between those two things when you put something on the stage. Because when you write for the stage, you're writing for performers, and you are blessed because you have 2 languages, beautiful languages that you can use. You have visual storytelling and you have textual storytelling. And it's finding the balance between those 2 things that's really important. And the trick is not to use them both at the same time. And that's something we'll be talking about as well. Third thing, I'm going to throw a couple of quotes at you. A couple of fantastic contemporary playwrights.
Hit me.
David Mamet was the script editor for an interesting series called The Unit that many people may have heard of. And he sent an email to the script writing team at one point when they were having difficulty. And he wrote, "Drama is the quest of the hero to achieve a specific acute goal against all comers, all odds." So drama is about action and having a goal on the stage, and we'll look at how that works. And Arthur Miller wrote that the trick with theatre was, yes, to give a truthful representation of events in a life, but that it needed to be an intense condensation of that experience. So essentially he was saying, you write life, yes, but you write life without the boring bits. So we'll also be looking at that in the workshop.
That's great. And I suppose it's a mantra of dialogue as well, to write what people say without the boring bits.
Boring bits, that's exactly right. But recognizing that what people say is really different from what they might write down. Oral language and written language, really different things.
I suppose the one other thing I was curious of, and I understand that, we're running a little bit into your time, but what is the difference for writing for stage rather than writing for page?
Okay. Collaboration, first and foremost. When someone's writing a novel or a memoir, when they're writing on the page, essentially they're doing it themselves, I think. I mean, they'll have an editor or editorial team that will work with them eventually, but their pursuit of the story happens solo. When you write for the stage, you're writing a skeleton of going to be fleshed out, given its muscle and sinew, and its nuances and its colors, by other people. Now, they'll be using what you've given them as a blueprint for what they develop, but the work of all of those other people is actually necessary to make a play come alive. Director, designer, lighting designer, sound designers often now, AV, audio-visual designer often as well, actors, so performers of all kinds, actors, singers, musicians, depending on what you've written. It takes all of those people to create this thing that lives on the stage for 2 hours and speaks to an audience. That's it.
Wow.
Really. That's the essential thing.
So is less more when you're writing a play?
Truthfully, yeah, you will find that one of the tools that you need to develop is the ruthless ability to kill your babies. Your favorite lines, your favorite scenes, the things that you just adore your character saying may well go out of the final product.
And you don't necessarily have a say in that, do you? Because the director might just take it out.
Often writers are in the rehearsal room, particularly for a first production. And what hopefully happens, if it's a good, solid working relationship, what should happen is that writer and director will say, they will be both working with the actors, and the actors will say, I don't understand this. What am I doing here? I can't feel what this, and so there'll be a conversation about what that character, what the writer intended for that character to be saying or doing at that time. They'll try it again multiple ways. The writer then might say, leave it with me. I'll come up with something else for you. And then they'll bring that back in the following day, or maybe after lunch if it's quick. So it's usually a collaborative process. Yeah, sometimes works once they've had a number of productions. If the writer's not in the room, the director might decide, okay, I'm just going to cut this bit. But more often than not, it's collaborative.
Is writing for stage and writing for screen, are they two different beasts as well, or are they basically the same principles?
No, well, they'll employ the same basic principles, absolutely, because you're still collaborating. Like, it's a collaborative process. It takes a lot of people to put that product together. But at the same time, it is a different process, because when you write for the stage, the audience sees almost effectively, they see everything that is on the stage. So you are putting up there the skeleton of everything an audience is going to see. When someone writes a screenplay, a director's eye directs the camera. So if you imagine that instead of, so the audience does not see the entire scene. They do not see the entire story that's happening, that's coming off. The director is actually showing them only what he or she wants them to see. And writers for screen are very much more, therefore, visually acutely aware. And when they write a script, they write, this is the point of view. They write point of view. They write what kind of, is it extreme close up? Is it long distance? Is it, and they write those things. So their language is a lot more visual and deliberately visual, but it's not about, it's weird. It's not about giving, you don't give the performers the latitude that they have when they're on the stage.
I've only written one play, and I found it a great experience because I was able to, I didn't have to tell, I didn't have to say, I didn't have to write everything into the page. I could just be like, this person goes, does this, rather than
I do.
I could remove all the emotion, which I liked. I could actually emotive language within the dialogue, but I could remove all of the, this is how this person feels, because the actor shows
you don't.
How this person feels.
In fact, an actor will hit you if you write emotional stage directions in. Unless you are literally saying they are so overcome by joy, that they are orgasming on the floor, which gives an idea of scale for the actor. But truthfully, if a writer put in angrily or sadly or with a heavy heart, or an actor would ignore it, and the B sort of go, it's all right, I know what I'm doing, you know.
Yeah.
All of that stuff is in the text. It's all in there, whether it's in the stage directions, you know, or the situation that you're writing about, or actually in the dialogue, but it's all in there to be inferred. And that's what's great.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for giving us some of your time today. It's been fantastic, and the workshop sounds great.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting, but a little bit fast-paced. Like, you're going to have fun. We'll be doing lots of games, and by the end of the day, you will have written. You will have started.
Games?